3 million years ago, humans were some of the most vulnerable creatures on the African savanna. We had no claws for defense, no exceptional speed to outrun predators, and a bite force that couldn't even break skin. Compare that to the arrival of humans in the Americas 15,000 years ago. In what paleontologists call the Pleistocene Blitzkrieg, small groups of hunters triggered the extinction of 85% of the continent's large animals, from woolly mammoths to saber-toothed cats. Biologically, a slow, weak primate should never have reached the top of the food chain. The gap between our physical frailty and our global dominance is the central paradox of human evolution. Our ancestors bridged that gap by bypassing the slow pace of natural selection. Instead of waiting millions of years to evolve sharper teeth or more powerful muscles, we found a technological shortcut. This is the concept of biological outsourcing. We took our internal physical limitations and transferred them into external tools and physical strategies. This strategy of moving our survival burdens outside of our own bodies physically separated us from every other animal on Earth. Our inherent physical weaknesses became the primary drivers of our progress. The first pillar is lethality. These Oldowan flakes allowed early humans to outsource the work of canine teeth. Using a sharp rock to break into carcasses provided access to calorie-rich bone marrow that our flat teeth were physically incapable of reaching. With the hafted spear, we combined wood and stone to outsource the brute force to kill. A sharpened branch might bounce off thick megafauna hide, but a stone-tipped spear penetrates deep into muscle with far less physical exertion from the hunter. The atlatl took this further by acting as a mechanical lever. It effectively lengthened the human arm, allowing a hunter to launch projectiles at over 100 miles an hour using mechanical advantage rather than pure muscle. The bow and arrow refined this into energy storage. By bending wood and sinew, we could store potential energy and release it instantly, striking with lethal precision from 50 meters away. By outsourcing lethality to projectiles, we decoupled hunting success from the extreme risks of close-quarters combat. While Neanderthals suffered frequent injuries from thrusting spears at arm's length, sapiens were taking down prey from a safe distance. The second pillar is digestion. Consuming raw food requires a massive amount of internal energy. The body has to work for hours just to chew and chemically break down raw animal tissue and fibrous plants. Anthropologist Richard Wrangham argues that by controlling fire, early humans essentially moved their digestive process outside the body. Heat breaks down proteins and fibers in the flames, pre-processing the food before we even take a bite. This caused a major anatomical shift. Because our bodies no longer needed heavy-duty digestive hardware, our colons shortened and our jaws weakened. Moving the metabolic labor of digestion to the fire unlocked a caloric surplus. This energy was rerouted to the brain, fueling its rapid evolutionary growth. The third pillar is risk. For a solitary human, attempting to kill a 2,000-pound bison is statistically suicidal. The physical odds are simply too high for one person to overcome. This payoff matrix shows the math behind human survival. When the prey is large enough to be shared, the return on investment for cooperation is significantly higher. Hunting alone carries a high probability of failure. This math made cooperation mandatory for a reliable communal harvest. We applied this logic with strategies like the buffalo junk. Entire tribes worked together, using decoys and bison hides and hunters disguised as wolves to drive massive herds toward hidden cliffs. A single coordinated event could yield 20,000 pounds of meat, enough to sustain a whole community for months. Communal hunting moved the risk of the hunt from the individual to the group. By trusting the collective, we turned our individual physical vulnerability into our greatest survival advantage. These three pillars worked in tandem. Outsourced lethality made us dangerous, outsourced digestion made us smarter, and outsourced risk made our survival predictable. This triggered a coevolutionary feedback loop. Each new tool sparked a biological or social change, which in turn created the need for even more sophisticated technology. Humanity survived because we engineered a technological shortcut to the top of the food chain, allowing us to overcome every ecosystem we encountered. We still follow this ancient pattern today. We continue to move our biological burdens outward, outsourcing our memories to algorithms, our physical labor to machinery, and our lethality to remote-controlled weapons. Human history tracks the progress of a species whose primary survival trait is the ability to move beyond its own biological boundaries. Our greatest weapon has always been the realization that we could build our own evolution.